Manchester United 2, Arsenal 0 in this preseason game in New Jersey, New York State. And a very good performance from Man United. I am very impressed with our performance tonight. Dominated the ball in that first half, had the majority of the chances in that first half, and without a doubt deserved to be the winning team tonight. And of course, preseason is more than just winning the games. It is great to build up confidence. It is great to keep a third clean sheet on the bounce, but it's about looking ahead at your season ahead. What do the patterns look like? Is there a difference in how we're playing? What young players are emerging and improving and demonstrating some qualities? How will Maguire react to having the captaincy taken away? What will Bruno do? That's the Man United perspective. Of course, we're watching Arsenal tonight as well, and we're focusing on how's Declan Rice going to play? Starting his first game against a proper team. Yes, it's preseason, but you want to see something. Kai Havertz in his first game, what will he do? What will the impact be? Urian Timber being tested. Again, preseason. It isn't the be-all and the end-all, but it is a precursor. It is a taster. We saw Arsenal last summer have a brilliant preseason, and that translates itself across. So there's lots to delve into and talk about tonight on this show. We want to hear from Gooners, want to hear from Arsenal fans on the show, what they thought, what they felt in relation to that game and that performance. Of course, Chelsea are actually playing Brighton as of right now as well. I believe Danny Welbeck may have scored, is what I'm seeing. But look, I was very impressed tonight with Manchester United. We'll talk about my team. I was very, very impressed indeed with that first half display. First 10, 15 minutes, Arsenal were the dominant side. They had the majority of the ball. They were moving it well. And I was sitting there and thinking, okay, I like that, but I wanted to see a difference with Mason Mount being in the middle. By the looks of it, he's going to be playing deep. Sky Sports, Who Scored, Live Score, they all put Bruno in the deeper role and Mount in the kind of 10. But that wasn't what it was. Bruno was in the 10 role and Mount was deeper. And as we settled into the game, Man United started to dominate the ball. In our last two games against Arsenal had 60% of the ball at Old Trafford last season and 57% of the ball at the Emirates. In that first half, we had 53% of the ball. And if you actually look after the first 15 minutes, we actually had 67% of the ball. So we started to dominate it. Young Mainoo. I know it's wrong. Because I know it's wrong, I keep saying it wrong. Young Mainoo looked excellent. Very good at shielding, very good at shutting down Odegaard. But then when he had to do a crossover and he had to attack, and he was the person that switched it up and was in a more forward role, with Bruno maybe dropping a little bit deeper, Mount not pushing on ahead, he was excellent. And some of our best opportunities and chances came from him. I was very impressed. Mason Mount, again, nothing spectacular from him tonight. So there wasn't a singular pass or run or dribble where it stands out and you remember it. But he maintained possession. Now, listen, this is preseason. It's a precursor. It's an idea of what could come. But we were up against, on paper, one of the best midfields in the league. Odegaard, Declan Rice, £105 million, and £65 million investment on Kai Havertz. And what we saw is Man United dominate the ball. What we saw is simple passes into the right areas to maintain possession. No crazy Hollywood ball. There was times where we tried the Hollywood balls, but at the correct moments. You have to take some risk, otherwise you're never going to score. So I was really impressed. But Mainoo, for me, was one of my standouts. Jadon Sancho as well. I've got to give this lad massive props. Huge credit tonight. Worked so hard. Forget his goal for a minute. His work rate. This is what I've been asking for from him the whole time. 1 second. The back of my chair keeps going back out to lock it. Work rate. Running into the channels, running in behind, tracking off the balls. In 2023, you can't not work hard with the way systems are now built up. If you play for Pep, Klopp, Ten Hag, Poch, Arteta, you have to work hard. You absolutely do. And he did that tonight. And yes, there was some fortune about his goal. a mistake, another mistake, by the way, from Gabriel that allowed him in. But look at he showed his pace. He didn't just show pace, he kept on running. Honestly, I believe Sancho a year ago would have stopped at the edge of the box and trapped back and waited for somebody else. And I call that shirking responsibility, and he didn't tonight, and he finished his chance brilliantly. And of course, Captain Bruno tonight stepping up. I really thought it was a good goal. And they're saying the keeper should have saved it, maybe. But for me, it was so much power, velocity, dip in that shot. It was difficult. And look, Bruno stepping up. It's not a goal that will count on his record, but another good performance from him. I kind of want some of these in these big games for real next year. But overall, really impressed. AWB, impressive. Our centre-back pairing tonight, very, very good indeed. So there's lots to be excited about as a Man United fan. I was a bit nervous in the second half because we made wholesale changes. And Arsenal kind of did theirs sporadically and kept their team a little stronger. But we were really good in the second half as well. I was impressed with that performance. Lindelof at the back, great. I was happy with what Maguire came on and did. Delot should have squared the ball to Rashford earlier. He would have tapped it in, but he was offside by the time it came across and caught flat-footed because he stopped because he was offside. We weren't as much of a threat in the second half, but I'm not surprised with Ahmad getting injured, Palestri coming in, young Forson on the side who's never kicked a ball at this level. But overall, really, really happy indeed. Excited to see Onana join this team. And listen, Højlund, Amrabat still to potentially come in, still for starting lineup still can get better. Samiro's got to come into that starting lineup as an example. Onana, Rashford, a proper number 9 as well. Look, a very, very impressive night for Man United. A great kind of framework for what we may start doing more of next year, and that's holding on and trying to dominate more of that ball. Now, for me, I want to speak about Arsenal as well. We're not going to bring Brandon on. We're going to get KJ on as well to have their say on this. Look, I think Man United deserve credit tonight. We dominated the ball. We won a lot of the individual battles. For instance, it wasn't just Bruno, but Garnacho did it as well. Sancho did it as well. They absolutely cooked Uri and Timber tonight. And he got a bit of and this is probably going to be a good thing for Arsenal. Almost like the Premier League level is so much further beyond that of the Eredivisie. So he was kind of caught out tonight under the ball quite a bit. In the Premier League, he'd have been booked very early in the game as well. He made a lot of kind of bitty fouls, as it were. I thought Kai Havertz, there's a lot of attention on him tonight. I have to say he was invisible. He was really invisible in terms of his performance. I don't really remember him getting his foot on the ball. He didn't dictate any play. He didn't help to maintain possession. I thought it was a really lackluster performance from him. And I thought Bruno Fernandes got the better of Declan Rice tonight. Now, that's no mean feat. So it's Bruno Fernandes. He's one of the best attacking midfield players in the world. But this is what preseason's got to be now for Arsenal, is to get these guys settled. And maybe we're seeing now why Arsenal have kind of changed their tune via the media about letting Partey go. It might take a little bit of bedding in with these guys because Man United looked like there was quite a lot of cohesion straight away, even with Mount joining. Arsenal's team looks a little bit disjointed at times tonight, especially when Man United started moving that ball around well. They also got caught out with some long balls. And Man United targeted it. They saw the fullbacks were too far in. They were knocking balls into the channel. And United looked very, very dangerous in that as well. So, look, it is pre-season. But remember, we were praising Arsenal's pre-season performances last season. So I'm going to criticize some elements of it this year. They weren't at the races today, but I will put that down to Man United, I think, putting in a really good pre-season performance. But some things to work on when it comes to Arsenal. And look, even Arsenal are going to improve that starting lineup with Gabriel Jesus still to come into it as an example. Right now, again, you might say I'm overreacting. I think starting games with Odegaard and Kai Havertz is wrong. I think you've got to start with Partey and Declan Rice and choose either Partey or Declan Rice to be more forward-thinking. I just think he's a bit lightweight right now. And I noticed this with Kai Havertz in the skills challenge. He's lacking confidence. I know he scored against the MLS All-Stars, but no disrespect, you're talking championship-level teams, right? He just looks a little bit like he's lacking confidence. And if you keep starting somebody when they're lacking confidence and they have some poor games, it can get worse. So a big decision coming up there for Mikel Arteta, no doubt. Now, look, I want to go to some of your super chats here. I knew this would come from the bill. He says, Arsenal scare me even more. Where Arsenal fans who claim light work 3-1 or 7-0, Arsenal fans are called delusional for a reason. Listen, I'm not personally writing off Arsenal because of tonight. I'm praising Man United, and I've said this season United are going to be a team that I think can improve by up to 15 points in terms of the league. I believe we can get ourselves into a title race if we bring the right people in. That means we're in and around the level of this side. So if we have a really good game, we can make an Arsenal. We have the ability at Man United to make Arsenal, to make City, to make Liverpool, to make Chelsea look poor if we play up to our absolute best. And Man United did that tonight. There are some areas for Arsenal to focus on and improve, and I'm sure they'll do that. Hi, Ter. Really enjoyable game. Arsenal midfield looked like crap. Rice is an overvalued donkey, and we all knew that. Havertz is mediocre, is what I Cut My Farts has got to say. I feel sorry for Rice. That midfield was, oh my God. It was poor tonight. There was an invisible performance from them. It really was. United title favourites, of course not. Man City are the title favourites in everybody's minds. Havertz will get Arteta sacked. I mean, if he performs like if he and the rest of the midfield do that for 70% of your games this season, yes, but maybe that's your opinion. A lineup of players who are not used to playing with each other, but it shows you the characteristics of some players. Kai ain't an 8. Eddie out. Yeah, look, again, I didn't. Yeah, Eddie Nketiah, another just abject performance from him. Is Balogun on the bench? I didn't check for Arsenal. I'm not too sure if he was on. He was on the bench. I would have been fearful of him maybe coming on. And as that game kind of panned out, there was very little threat. I was kind of watching it. I actually had the UFC on at the same time to keep my eye on what ARSMNU was doing. I didn't feel threatened. And that means something. Oral Campbell, thank you for becoming an official member of the Terrace again, my friend. I really do appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very, very much indeed. A few people saying, do you think United can win the league? Look, I'm not overgassing the performance. I'm talking about it individually. I think it shows a good framework as we move into next season. And look, there's a long way to go. But we did something tonight that Man United fans have been crying out for. Even people that don't really like Ten Hag have been asking for. And that's dominate the ball against another good team. And we did. Now, we want to get better at it, and you want to see it more regularly, and you want it in a high-pressured situations as well. But you can only assess what's been put in front of you. Very, very impressive indeed. I'm going to bring KJ and Brandon on to have their say with me now. Viewers, please make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you're subscribing to the Terrace as well. Gentlemen, welcome. KJ, first of all, good win for United. I thought a decent performance. Talk to me, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy with that performance. We showed two sides of the game that we need to be good at if we're going to be considered one of the best teams in the league next season, which is being able to press high, dominate the ball, create loads of chances, but then also be resolute in defense and hold on to a lead when needed. And yeah, the right players got the right moments today. Bruno Fernandes showing why he's the captain, why he's the leader, coming up with a great goal. Too powerful for Ramsdale. Jadon Sancho needed that goal. I want to talk about Sancho in a minute, but he needed that goal. Brilliant finish. And then our little star boy right now, like we get a new one every year, a new star boy every year, and this year it's Mainoo, and brilliant performance today, coming against one of the best teams in the league. I know it's preseason, but in these games, that's when the young players need to show that they've got quality. And he showed that today. And I'm really excited to see what Kobe's got to do with us in the future. Like, honestly, like we've got a real star on our hands. And in second half, we wasn't going to be as attacking with the lineup that we had, which is fine. But we stayed resolute. Lindelof today, I don't know what they did to him during last season, but ever since Ten Hag's come in, Lindelof has been brilliant. Like, this is the kind of player that you want as your third centre-back who can come in, be strong, be resolute, be aggressive, and fill in when he needs to fill in. I have more confidence in him than Maguire going forward. And you can tell, like, some of the players like Rashford, like Eriksen, they're still a bit rusty. Deleu's still a bit rusty. That's their first preseason game since the international break. But we move forward. But Jadon Sancho, Now, this guy has been getting terrorized by Twitter for the last 2 years. And some of the criticism is fair enough, but all of it is just being over the top. And what I saw today, I'm happy with. I've said to you, Terry, I said to you like in private conversations, this is the best shape that Jadon Sancho has been in. And we can see the improvements. Each game is getting better and better. He's working harder. Today, he had speed today. When's the last time we saw him like the burst of pace like that to get away from Gabriel and stay away from Gabriel? And the finish is what we know we can do. That was a beautiful finish. And this is why I believe in Jadon Sancho this season, because he looks right. Physically, he looks right. Mentally, I believe he's going to have a good season again. He's smiling. He can tell he's focused. People are making fun of him about his press-ups. But, bruv, if you've been in the game and your punishment in press-ups, you know you ain't doing it properly, man. You're just getting it over and done with, innit? So, really happy with
I just want to say, Sancho, listen, I've criticized him massively in the past. I stand by everything that I've criticized him for. Of course, on some match reactions, you know, when you're angry and you're frustrated, you'll say things. I don't believe I've ever said anything disgusting or nasty about him as a person. And I've never done that. I've definitely called out some of his he's weird, Andrew Tate loving, weirdo fans online. Some of them are strange, but that's not a reflection of Jadon Sancho, the individual. But you're right. He does look in better shape. He does look fitter. He does look lean. And it's about, for me, I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to talk to him and ask him, not on camera so it goes out there. I'd love to ask him directly, because I saw that pace tonight, and I don't believe that's purely just because of conditioning. It's hard to keep doing that. It takes so much effort to keep running hard. It's a lot easier to run a bit and stop and then let other people run and for you to find the passes. When you've got speed, when you're not a quick player like Eriksen, there's no point in sprinting. But when I see Eriksen working harder in his sprints than I do Jadon Sancho, it annoys me because Sancho's quick. But tonight he was running, he was energetic. And for me, if the penny is dropped and this boy starts working hard, his level of ability and talent will shine through. And you've got a star there. And look, it's a preseason game. I want to see this in 99.9% of all games. But you're absolutely right. He was very impressive tonight. And I'll always give credit where credit is due, because I don't have an agenda. I just want players to work as hard as I know I would if I was on the football pitch for Manchester United Football Club, and that he deserves a hell of a lot of credit tonight. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Lipstick here says, question, Terry, can you see a world where Mainoo pushes Cass out the team? Not yet. Not yet. Casemiro is still one of the best defensive midfield players in world football. Mainoo isn't there yet, but there's talent. And he had a test tonight. And he went up against one of the best midfields in Europe. He went up against one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League in Odegaard. And he had a very good game. It was a test. And people are having a go at me for a tweet I put out. And the tweet I put out basically reads, Mainoo passing a test against one of the best midfields in the Premier League and outshone the £105 million man Rice. We have a real star here. I said passing a test. He's got multiple more tests to come in the future. He also, again, he'll be getting told this by Ten Hag, probably by his parents, leaders at the club. You ain't made it because you're in the first team. That's when the hard work begins. You have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But there's talent there. This kid, Mainoo, is very, very talented indeed. And I'm personally very, very excited about the future of this kid. Him and Garnacho, the two young kids that we're now developing, I'm happy with that. From the academy. I don't think you can do more than two at a time when you're trying to win things in the modern day game. But yeah, very, very happy with that indeed. Some more super chats here. First one said, how good is Mainoo? Obviously, we just spoke about that there. Very, very talented indeed. We said they had a Leicester season. Mainoo over Kai. Look, I'm not going to write Arsenal off because of one defeat in pre-season. This here says Arsenal just lost the same team twice in 90 minutes. Well, we did beat them twice, to be fair, because we won the penalty shootout as well. So, yeah, we will take those 2 wins over Arsenal in pre-season. That was so American. They're so American. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, they're man giving everyone in that stadium all their money's worth, man.
It's true. This here from Umkai, is that pronounced? I think he says this game was a genuine draw, except 2 individual errors from Ramsdale and Gabriel. I am happy it happened in pre-season, but Arteta has a lot of thinking to do and start from the ground up again. Brandon, from an Arsenal point of view, what did you make of tonight, and especially where the eyes were really focused on the 3 new players that came into the team in Timber, Rice, and Kai Havertz?
Cool. Where do we start, Tel? First of all, yes, it is a pre-season game, but it is also a Premier League fixture, basically, against one of the rivals in the Premier League as well. So this game tells you more than what any other pre-season fixture will, right? United looked sharper than us. They pressed a lot better than us, I thought, as well. And you can kind of accept that because maybe, Manchester United are just, I don't know, a little bit ahead of us in terms of fitness at this stage of the pre-season. But there's a few things that I want to point out that kind of worry me a little bit with Arsenal. Firstly, Aaron Ramsdale with the first goal. Like, we've seen this on numerous occasions with Ramsdale, where he's conceding shots that he should be saving. And, Ramsdale by no means was at any fault for, us losing the league title last season. But if you're being real, he has to improve on that. You cannot be conceding shots that you should be at least pushing to the side of the goal at the very least, if not holding on to the ball. So that's number one. Number two, I think it's very, very clear to see that Balogun will be leaving Arsenal in this summer transfer window because, this kid, he's come back from a loan spell. He's hit 20 plus goals in the French league. It was a great opportunity to give him a chance tonight. And we decided to play Eddie Nketiah instead. And, KJ was just talking about how players are improving at Manchester United. Eddie Nketiah hasn't improved at all at Arsenal. If anything, he's got worse. And I cannot understand why Arteta persistently, keeps on trusting in this guy, giving him opportunities, giving him minutes. When you got the likes of Balogun, who's there, who's gone out and had a decent loan spell, and is crying out for opportunities. Otherwise, you're going to end up selling this guy on. Now, maybe the club have already made the decision to move him on. Maybe. But the point is, with it being a Premier League fixture against one of your rivals, pre-season or not, it's a great opportunity to have a look at this kid and see what he's actually all about, And he didn't do it tonight. So that tells me that Balogun's leaving. And if that's the case, Arsenal need to get a striker in. I don't care what anybody says. Eddie Nketiah is not good enough. And people will say, yeah, but we've got Jesus. Yeah, but we've got Trossard. Yeah, but we've got Havertz that can even play in that position. Let me ask you this, right? If worst case scenario, Gabriel Jesus has a long-term injury again next season, can you trust any of them players to actually do the role that Jesus does and better and keep the level at the heights that we're going to need it to be if we're to compete in the league title next season again and the Champions League and all the other competitions? And the answer is we need something a little bit different. We need something, somebody who can score more goals than Jesus, but can also do a similar role. Moving aside from that one, let's bring it to Kai Havertz. I backed this signing, then I questioned this signing. I think I've made up my mind about this signing now, Tel. And again, it's pre-season, so you cannot read into too much. But I think there's one thing that's clear to see. Kai Havertz and Declan Rice as a midfield does not work. It's as simple as that. And yeah, okay, you have to build relationships. You have to give it time. Arsenal don't have time, bro. We've got, 3-4 more pre-season games? Is that enough for them to build a connection between the two where it's going to be a good enough midfield to go out and attack the Premier League against a team of like Manchester City? I don't think so. I think you're right in what you said at the top of the show. I think you need a midfield of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey. And then Kai Havertz being that kind of option who can play sort of anywhere on the pitch. I don't see him as being a starting player in this Arsenal team. He looks too lightweight. You know, he was getting overrun in the midfield by a young kid at Manchester United. You know, it's kind of like them little things there. And then, you know, the defensive mistakes, they are what they are. But I look on these things in particular and I just think, right, we've decided to change up our midfield this summer. And it's looking like Arteta is going to want to either play Rice or Partey, not Rice and Partey. Because again, he had the opportunity to see, you know, what Declan Rice and Thomas Partey would have been like as a midfield too. He decided to take off Rice and bring on Partey and leave Kai Havertz on the pitch. So that tells me that it's going to be one of either Rice or Partey and then Havertz in front. And I just don't think that midfield is going to work for us next season if we're going to be challenging for a league title. I really don't. I really, really don't, bro. And it's worrying me. It really is. So that tells me as well that we also need to go out and buy another midfielder. So Arsenal need at least 2 more signings if we're to attack that Premier League next season.
Yeah, KJ, what do you make?
What's happened?
I have no idea. So I asked KJ a question. I was like, what do you make of what Brandon just said there? You're on mute, bro. You're on mute, KJ.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay. No, I feel like with Arsenal, and what Brandon's saying is I get the frustration with where he's coming from. But at the same time, like if you look at that midfield today, that midfield is what the first time it's ever played. It's gonna take a few adjustments to fulfill what Arteta wants from that midfield. I don't know if Kai Havertz is really this left center mid 8 that Arteta thinks he is clearly. But I would give it a little time just to see how it goes. If by Christmas he's still looking awful in that position, then
by Christmas.
Yeah, listen, when's the last time we've seen Kai Havertz play number 8?
By Christmas, KJ.
Yeah, like it has to.
We ain't got time for that, bro.
And
we've not got time for that. We need to start. No. We need to start this Premier League season sharp. None of this. I'll give him till Christmas. None of that. And the thing that worries me about Kai Havertz more than anything as well is not only is he lightweight, right, but he doesn't look like he has the technical ability to play in that 8 role. And what I mean by that is you don't really see little intricate passes, little quick 1-2s in between, you know, him, Odegaard and Rice. You don't really see that. You just see him in no man's land, kind of running around, chasing the ball like a bit of a headless chicken. Doesn't really look like he's very comfortable in that position. We ain't got time for this. We've got Thomas Partey there. We've got Declan Rice there. Declan Rice can play in that 8 and the 6 role. He can be that further forward thinking player. Thomas Partey could even do that as well. We see him score some goals for Arsenal last season. So don't be wasting time thinking, okay, it might come. Because by that point, we might already be out of the league title race. And the expectation at Arsenal this season is to go for the league title again. And if he finishes, because at the moment, right, if he finishes, let's say, further behind than what he did last season, either in terms of points or in terms of places, then you have to question if we've really improved. And when you've spent the likes of £200 million like we have in this summer, then big question marks have to be asked, not only of the manager, but the recruitment team as well.
You know, I think that's a fair enough judgment in terms of Arteta's position in the team and in at Arsenal, because you're right. It's what full season number 4 now. Full season number 4. He's spent what he's spent, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have spent what he spent. He should be spending money. That's not my argument here. My argument is when you've reached these numbers now, and you've pretty much got a squad you can say is his. Now you have to start delivering. So I understand you saying that kind of thing on Arteta. I still think this whole Kai Havertz thing needs a bit of time, like, because for me it has to work. It has to work, because otherwise that was a waste of 65 million, especially if you're not going to start paying him up front or on the wings or whatever you're going to do Kai Havertz. It'd be a waste if it doesn't work out in this left 8 position. So that's what I'm saying. You need to give it time because it has to work otherwise.
Listen, Brandon, I think I understand where you're coming from. You don't have time. And this is the thing. I think this is where Arsenal fans' mindsets have got to adjust. The rebuild's over. You have to win. Otherwise, it doesn't, again, not winning doesn't equal manager shit, manager bad, sack him. You have to contextualize it. We have no idea what it looks like yet. But it's win or failure. By the way, that's the same for City, same for Liverpool, same for you're in that position. Man United, by the end of this window, as long as we bought the people we need to buy, because it's only start of the second season for our manager, it's the same thing. And that's why it's a case of when things aren't looking great, the criticism's got to be there, because you're not at the first year and the second year, maybe even the third year of a rebuild. You're getting to a point by the end of this window, your manager is going to have spent around £700 million. And by the end of this season, will be 4.5 years. He'll be in the middle of his 5th year in charge of your football club. So I do make you right. However, my kind of counter to you is a little bit, I wouldn't be full on panicking, because it does still sometimes take a little bit of time to blend people in. The reason I say that, this is more about your manager than it is Kai Havertz, or your manager than it is Declan Rice. And I'll tell you as to why. Because Pep Guardiola, we'll all agree, is the best manager in the world. He has signed people where year one, they don't look right. But what he does, he takes them out the firing line and finds a solution elsewhere in his squad. And that's where Arteta in the end last season, when Partey was playing bad, he left him in. When Holding was playing poor and he left him in, that's where he let you down. This is the thing. Say you play 3 more preseason games and Rice, but say Rice as well. Say Rice and Kai Havertz just don't look like it. You don't start the season with them playing. That's where your manager has to be brave to say, I know he's £100 million signing, but he might have to start on the bench if he isn't playing well, because you winning football matches is more important. This season it is about the new signings, but remember, you haven't bought Declan Rice to win you the Premier League this season, per se. You bought him for the next 5 to 10 years. Does that make sense? And if he isn't ready straight away, that isn't the end of the world. Partey's still there. Jorginho is still there, as an example. You should be able to utilize them. They're absolutely brilliant football players. And I think that's where, for me, I'm focusing on your manager. Because, again, Declan Rice might settle, be great. If Kai Havertz is looking like he's got no confidence, like he just isn't in the game, if he's starting matches because, I've spent 65 million, I've got to play him. That's what Ollie did wrong at Man United with the likes of McTominay, with Fred, with Maguire. And it ruined them, because it was they should have been pulled out of the limelight a lot sooner. That's when you look at your manager. So look, I'm very.
Do you not think there will be a lot of pressure on his shoulders to play Kai Havertz? Because it's very, very well known that this is a Mikel Arteta signing. This is somebody that he wanted. We spent the money on Kai Havertz. He convinced the board to spend the money on Kai Havertz, even up to £65 million. So is there kind of that pressure on his shoulders where he's also going to be sitting there thinking, well, I've got to play this guy? Because
no, there is. But this is the thing. There is pressure on him to play him. But I've seen Pep Guardiola sign people and then use them sporadically. I've seen people have world class. Like, don't be surprised if John Stones, who was out of this world last season, by midway point of next season is on the bench all the time. And that's just I'm guessing that we've seen him do it with multiple players in his team, right?
Klopp did the same thing with Fabinho in the first team.
When he brought Fabinho in, man didn't start playing until the January. This is what I mean. But if your manager may have pressure on him, but he has to know what the right thing for the team is, and that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's how you judge a manager. There's a difference between being a coach and a manager, and this is where, as a manager, you have to know when to take somebody out of the firing line. Or when to drop them, when to bring them back in, how to protect them. It doesn't matter that you spent 65 million on him. There's a comment that came in here, says, Terry, you're waffling. This is Arsenal's time to win the title. They've got the squad last season for form. I'm not saying they shouldn't be judged on winning the title or not. That isn't my point. I'm talking about when it comes down to managing your squad, you have to focus on the manager. We're talking about the responsibility and accountability of starting someone that isn't ready to start.
Yes, see,
yes, you bought them, but they may not be ready straight away. How do we know this? The best manager in the world has literally spent £100 million on a player that wasn't ready for the first 18 months at a club, but he found a solution elsewhere. And that's how you judge your manager, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, see, this is where I'm worried, though, Tel, because, you know, you go back to last season, you pointed it out yourself. He played Holding instead of Kivior for about 5 games. He carried on playing Thomas Partey even when he was well out of form. You know, and them things ended up costing us the league title in the end. Hopefully he's learnt his lesson. But from a guy who, you know, we'd say is relatively inexperienced in terms of being a manager, even though he's been a manager for 4 years, when you compare him to the likes of Guardiola and Klopp, who have been in the game for what, 10, 15 years as managers, they've been there, they've done it, they've learned from it. You know, they've made the mistakes and they've learned from them mistakes. So, you know, kind of comparing him to them. I understand it, but
no, mate, but I'm not comparing them. Someone in the comments said you shouldn't compare Pep and Arteta. I'm not comparing them. I'm giving an example of players that have been. You don't need to start the players you just bought. There are countless examples of that happening because proper managers, world-class managers, have done it. So my point to Arsenal fans is, if Kai Havertz ain't ready and your manager's keeping him on the bench, that should be getting praise. Not, why are you not starting him? You just bought him. You've got to think outside the box. So we'll see what he does when the season starts. Let's go to some of these super chats here. This here says Arsenal need a top striker. Their wide and midfield players are good, but they lack a direct impact up front. Havertz and Jesus won't get 20+ Premier League goals combined this season. Hashtag leave you out is what's been said there. We lit the timber on fire and cooked the rice is what Football Comments God has got to say. Oh, we did well tonight. Always been the same with us. If you are tough, you win. Is what Guna Dan has said here. I actually was quite happy with the level of intensity in the game. Me and Jess spoke about it last night, and I said there'd be a fight, and there was a little fracas, towards the end of the first half. Terry, what do you think about Ahmad? Like, he got injured today, but as everyone knows, I'm not overly moved by him. I think he's okay, but I think he'll be following Elanga out the club this summer or next, personally. But I hope he proves me wrong. Kai is Arteta's man. He's going to play him all season, and that's fine. But if he's not delivering and he keeps getting played, again, that you die on that hill. It's as simple as that. I think Arsenal fans, even the ones that don't like Arteta, would respect him more if he was like, do you know what? I spent this 65 million. It's a mistake. I'm going to stick him on the bench and play Smith Rowe instead and try and win. It'd get more respect for going, I made a mistake, I ain't playing him, than playing him and losing. Like that's my take, anyway. Go on, mate.
I think we've already got the perfect player suited to that 8 role anyway. I think Trossard could play that role. No problem at all.
Trossard in an 8?
Yeah, no problem at all.
I know he did it in the MLS game, but yeah, I personally couldn't see that working for 38 games in a season. That's a bit
I think he's got the technical ability to play there.
Oh, technically he's brilliant. I'm not saying that. I think you're wasting him in that position. I feel like him in those advanced areas out wide and down the middle, you get the best out of him.
You're forgetting that the 8 role at Arsenal, if it's going off of the way that Xhaka played for us last season, it is very advanced. He's kind of like just behind the striker, really, isn't he?
Yeah, but how much work did Xhaka do defensively? He still did his fair share, no?
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't want. I personally don't think Trossard is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Arteta said he's looking to play both Partey and Rice. Yeah, look, and that may end up being what he does, and it works. And this is all just this comes back, and yeah, it is what it is. Lee is screaming, sack Arteta now. Probably. Only a friendly, but a good win regardless. Glory, Man United. Yeah,
right, listen,
I agree.
Yeah, Terry, we can say it's only a friendly. Brandon, I got a question for you. What go on for your Arsenal fans that were saying it's more than a friendly? It's not a friendly. We're gonna smash you. We're gonna beat you. It's gonna be 7-0. It's gonna be 4-5. It's gonna be all of this. And now come to the day, you guys lose the game, and I'm seeing, don't worry, guys, it's just a friendly, guys. You know what I mean? Just preseason.
Yeah, it's just...
What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with your fan base?
Oh, I don't know, bro. They just got to say things to fit their narrative, and then when it don't work out, all of a sudden the narrative changes, and that's how it is. Like, to me, I look on it like this. Yes, it's a pre-season friendly, but it's Arsenal versus Man United. Is it really a friendly? I don't think so. You know, you see some of the tackles that went in tonight from Lisandro Martinez. That didn't look like a friendly to me. It looked like quite a competitive game. So
I agree. And do you know what? Ten Hag put a lot of pressure on Man United tonight by stating that, no, this is a big game. We want to win it. There's bragging rights. You know, we had nowhere to go as a fan base because our manager had said how big a game it was. Now, I didn't watch what Arteta said, so I have no idea. But look, I got the feeling that some Arsenal fans online felt this was going to be like the Chelsea game last year. That's the kind of feeling that I got. And Man United turned up tonight, and I think that's why there may have been a little bit of needle. I think there may have been a little bit of needle because the players are like, listen, Chelsea was so disorganized and bad last year. That's why you battered them. And we were quite good. And Lisandro, I have to say, listen, we probably would have still lost that Champions League final. But you know what? If we would have had Anthony available for the work rate that he puts in and his ability to pop up every now and then with a goal, and had Lisandro at the back, we've had a much better chance. We've had a much better chance.
Was it him who did that pass to Luke Shaw on the wings? Was it Lisandro? Flipping hell, bro.
Yeah,
I don't care, man. This
very
guy
good.
is.
And when Onana's passing the ball into him. By the way, I want to shout out Tom Heaton tonight because I thought he played quite well.
Big Tom.
It just got to show. So I don't think Tom Heaton is any better with the ball at his feet than David De Gea, but I don't think his confidence is damaged. You just. I know it's only pre-season.
I think he is better than David De Gea with his feet.
He might be.
The ball he gave to Mainoo, are you mad?
Mate, honestly. The boy here says Klopp rarely started players right away. Example is Fabinho, Robertson, even Konate didn't start right away with Nunes, big money signing, and because of injuries, he was forced to play and underperformed. And it's very true. It's a very good shout. Klopp doesn't like to do it. Good to see you guys again. Yes, it's pre-season, but we look tough to break down, getting the right areas, and we're doing this without Onana and a striker and another midfield player, you know, and like somebody else. Like if we bring in an Amrabat and Højlund, and when Onana's in the team, like we've got a good chance this year. We've got a good chance. This result means. Sorry, mate.
People are sleeping on Man United. I think you get 2 more signings in the door, you'll be up there as well. So all these Arsenal fans are like, oh, well, it's only pre-season, it's only Man United. I'd be worried about what you're saying because I'm telling you now, if we don't get a striker and Mikel Arteta decides to go right ahead and just play Kai Havertz anyway, we could see United end up above Arsenal. And that's not because I'm an Arsenal hater or an Arteta hater or anything like that. That's just me being completely honest.
Well, I hope you're right. This result means F-all. United took their chances and we had chances. Brandon, too negative. Doesn't mean United will challenge City or Arsenal will flop.
That is true, fellas. That is true. I'm sitting here basically saying it's preseason game, good for the building confidence. I'm not really going in this, look at Arsenal. At the end of the day, that your guys are building something, we're building something. We'll see at the end of the season where it takes us. But if you had won, are you commenting the same thing, fellas? That's what I want to know. Are you commenting the same thing? Because I know Arsenal fans had the tweets, had the comments, had the super chats prepaid and ready to go.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I've been told that Lucky Gal put out a tweet basically saying that Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard are going to cook our midfield. I have been reliably informed that tweet has now been deleted. So there were definitely people putting that kind of narrative out there. A phrase Man United fans should start using for Bruno is I don't know how you
is it Mi Capital?
Capital. Does that mean my captain? I assume.
Yeah,
I assume that means my captain in Portuguese. Let me check. Let me put it in Google Translate. We'll see what it comes out like. So let me write my captain. It might not mean that. My captain, and I'm going to change it into Portuguese. Yes. Yeah, he's my captain. I thought so. It looked like my captain, but I wanted to make sure. I like that. Brandon should become manager, suggesting Trossard to play in the 8. Lol. Yeah, I wouldn't personally do that, But I hear you. But yeah,
it'd be funny though, because if Arteta does all of a sudden start playing Trossard in the 8 role, and Arsenal, do well with Trossard in the 8, all of a sudden the narrative will change again. So you can't win, mate. You criticise the club a little bit because you want them to do well, and you're negative, and you shouldn't suggest things like that. But then when it ends up happening and the manager makes the decision, he's the greatest thing of all time. So
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I agree. This is Mainoo over Casemiro today. Yeah, he probably did have a better game today. What I will say about Mainoo, look, to say he'll ever get to Casemiro's level means you're predicting he's going to become one of the best DMs in the world. An area of his game that I do think will be better than Casemiro's if he keeps progressing is his passing. He's got a brilliant passing range already at such a young fledgling age. However, the thing for Mainoo is working hard. And I know there's a lot of youngsters, especially on socials, like, it's about ability, not working hard. No, no matter how much ability you've got to work so hard every single day. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, in my opinion, and when I say work hard, I don't just mean pressing and running around like a headless chicken. I mean day-to-day working, gym, eating right, sleeping early. That's all about working hard, being disciplined. That's what he needs now, this kid. And if he does that, he's got a very, very bright future.
He's not even a DM, by the way. So comparing to Casemiro ain't really the one. He's an 8.
He's an 8. He is. That's where Man United. You go on Man United website and you read about him. Because someone put an extract on Twitter the other day, and I went, I didn't realize he was an 8. And I'm like, listen, I'm only learning now because I don't obviously go on the website. I don't have MUTV, so it's one of them things. That's why my internet crashed. Funny a minute. I still had my VPN on because I was watching the game from an American account.
Fair.
So I was like, because obviously I don't pay for MUTV. Why would I? I saw people commenting during the game, moaning about the Man United commentators. I'm sitting there and I wonder what they're saying.
One of them just called outright, said Havertz was rubbish.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that's the thing about when you listen to like club-owned TV, that it's just not like it's. I mean, I moan sometimes when I get bias on, like when McManaman's bias on BT because I'm paying. And I don't want biased pundits. Yeah. But if you're paying for MUTV or Chelsea TV, you expect it to be I remember when I used to have MUTV, Paddy Kerrin. I think he's too. I think he's old now. Doesn't work anymore. This man, right? My brother would sit in the living room working, and I'd be watching something. And I remember once it was an academy game, and one of our guys did a 2-footed lunge through someone, a clear red card, and Paddy Kerrin screaming as the commentator, saying it's a disgrace. You should never have got sent off. The other guy should be booked for diving. The guy's leg nearly snapped in half, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's so biased, man. It's crazy. This super chat here says, it's funny how everyone is saying how every manager needs to play by their fans. Imagine Dowd as a manager with Igao as the assistant.
I'd keep Arteta all day long. Keep him.
That'd be jokes, man.
Yeah. This here says, Terry, you're 100% right. It is the manager's decisions that will decide what we do. He has the squad. No, you're right. Like Arteta has the squad. Pep has the squad. Klopp's pretty much there or thereabouts. Man United, listen, by the end of this window, how we feel about Man United, listen, we bring in some. What I love is people are almost. I love what rivals are. Some of them are so short-sighted and silly. They're laughing at our signings and saying 6th, 7th, 8th. Then if we come 3rd or 2nd and win another trophy, they'll say, yeah, but with your squad, you should be doing that. Well,
look at the signings you got in the summer. Like,
yeah.
Look how...
yeah. However, like if we get the signings we're linked to and then we add a star to it, let's just say we are able to get a Kane, as an example. Well, I did see tonight Spurs are going to inquire about Mbappe.
Really, no way.
Listen, if Spurs sign Mbappe this window, I'll never stream again.
Wait, are we saying KJ Terrace, yeah? All right, come on, let's flipping go.
I'm saying this now. I'll walk away. If Spurs sign Mbappe, I quit YouTube. That's how confident I am. They are not getting him. Like, it's just not. Can you imagine? If all the clubs in the world offer him a contract and he's like, yeah, I fancy a bit of Spurs.
Well, all I'm saying is Martial plus number 11 plus Maguire plus whatever other player you want that and whatever money you want, take it. And
I'd love him. I'd love him. It's not happening. He's going around Madrid, but
100%.
yeah, I'd love it. But yeah, but
It's
if Man
cool.
United can add a star, if Man United can add a star to the players that we're very highly likely to sign, we've got a great chance this season. We've got a great if we keep progressing, if we keep working hard. Terry, stop disrespecting your dad. Isn't he a Spurs fan? I'm not disrespecting my dad by stating a fact that I don't think Mbappe would sign for Tottenham. That's not disrespecting my dad. That's just speaking facts. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you're not disrespecting English people if you say it rains a lot here. It's the truth. Like there's sometimes you say certain things about certain
or if you say
people
London
or places.
Stinks.
What stinks?
I said London. Or if you say London stinks, it's okay.
Bruv, you're from Birmingham. You can't smell anything because your nose has been burnt out by your stench, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wait, listen, no. My nose is burnt out because I lived in Middlesbrough for 4 years now. That place.
Yeah, the further north you get, the worse it gets, basically. Do you know what I mean? In fairness, I went to Cornwall once. Yeah, that's ridiculously nice. You don't even know you're in England. It's mad down there. It's really good. People are weird, though. Like, people from that part of England, it's very slow moving. It's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? It's like 1962 down there. Thanks for skipping my super chat, Terry. Lol. Did I? I didn't even remember your one coming in, my G. Because it hasn't even starred.
No. I've got it.
Okay, cool. We'll put it up in a sec. Here we go. Congrats, Man United fans, but don't get over your head. Last preseason, you beat Liverpool 4-0, and during the regular season, got humbled 7-0. Yeah, but we finished above them. So, yeah, I don't want to get beat 7-0 by Arsenal, but if that means we finish above you
and the trophy,
and we have a better season than you, it won't bother me. Turner needs to go at goalkeeper. He's playing well. Unpopular opinion. I don't think he's that good, mate. To be honest with you.
You want Turner over Ramsdale?
The yank. No. Both clubs won. Sorry, both clubs won.
Oh, the money.
Oh yeah, won. Oh, both won money. Have to take the L and hope that we never see Kai Havertz in the 8 again. That's not happening, by the way. Pressure is on Arteta now. 20 years, no Premier League. Of course.
Can I just say, right, for all these comments that are coming in about pressure on Arteta, you must win something this season, blah, blah, blah. I agree with every single one of them. Just make sure you don't go changing the narrative again at the end of the season if he doesn't win anything.
Maybe.
You know what's mad as well? Besides Brandon and Lee, no one actually brings up how long they've not had a Premier League title for. Like when Man United speak, it's shut up. You haven't won a Premier League in 10 years. Them man have reached 20, bruv. Like
this is our 20th season.
Like, that's crazy.
But that's why, as a United fan, I'm like, we've got to win one soon because it would. Like, listen, Chelsea, they're going into their 8th year. Like, it comes quick. I mean, Liverpool, they're almost on half a decade again. Yeah. Like they're on 3 years now. They're getting, so they don't win it this year. They're getting towards listen, it's nowhere near the 30 years they went, right? But this is when you get to my age, and I'm not an old man yet, you start to realize how fast things go by. The other night, it came on TV, Lord of the Rings. I'm like, I remember when this came out, and then I checked. I went to cinema. It was the first one 22 years ago, but I remember going like it was yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the first Harry Potter came out 22 years ago. The first book came out nearly 30 years ago. And I'm like, because they were talking about remaking them. And I'm like, nah, it's too soon. And then you realize, you actually look, a lot of films get remade after about 20, 25 years. But the first film...
I was not 5 when those things came out. What the hell? They came out like last year. Like,
yeah, I know. So that's what I mean. Time flies. But listen, viewers, it's very late here. Got to be up in the morning to make more content for you. And it's my dad's birthday, so I've got a busy day. Got to go out for dinner and stuff as well. Do us a big favor and hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the Footy Terrace as well. Bran, KJ, all of my super chatters, you're amazing. You're brilliant. You're wonderful. Well done to Man United. Very, very, very proud of you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.